Hello everyone, Mr. Daniel here for Craft Time with Virginia Repertory Theater. With this video and with all of my videos, I highly encourage you to watch all the way through to the end to get a good sense of the craft we're making, and then you can go back, rewind, fast forward, pause, stop, and do whatever you need to do in order to make a craft that you are happy with. I'm really excited about a lot of the crafts we're doing at the moment because it is one of my favorite times of year. Winter's coming up, it's getting cold, and there are so many holidays to celebrate and so many different things to do that I just can't help but love this time of year. And I really love that the kinds of crafts we get to do at this time of year. And today, I've got a really fun craft in store for you. We're going to be making toilet paper roll snowmen. These ones are really fun, they're really simple, easy to do, and they're a great craft to make with the family and with friends. You can make a whole bunch of them and have a little family or a group of friends made out of your little toilet paper roll snowmen. So let's get started, and the first thing we're always going to do is we're going to gather our materials. The materials we need for this particular craft is going to be a toilet paper roll, of course. I've got some construction paper. I've got white as well as orange. I've got some felt and some pipe cleaner. I've also got a little bit of ribbon. And as always, I have my pencil, my marker, a pair of scissors, some glue, and I'm going to be using a stapler to help me out a little bit today, just to make things a little quicker for me. You don't need to have a stapler, tape or glue works just fine. With all of our materials gathered, let's get started with this craft. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our piece of white construction paper. If you don't have white paper or white construction paper, you can also always paint your toilet paper roll white. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the bottom of my toilet paper roll with one of the edges of my sheet of paper. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark where the other end of this toilet paper roll is. Then I'm going to go all the way over to the other side of the paper and do the same thing. Now I have two marks on either side of the paper. I'm going to draw a line and I'm going to cut the paper there, so that I have a strip of paper that looks a lot like this. It's going to be the perfect height to wrap around our toilet paper roll so that we can get it looking perfectly white. You can take this, you can glue it, you can staple it, you can do whatever you want to make it look like this. Once we have the body of our snowman all prepped, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to draw a little face on here and some buttons using my pencil. I'm going to do it really light so you can't really notice it, but this just helps me keep everything organized. I'm going to make sure to leave a little bit of space at the top of the toilet paper roll because we're going to be putting a hat on top of our snowman. So I want to make sure there's room for that. So I like to go about a pinky width down from the top, and I'm just going to draw on some eyes where I think I want them to go, draw on a little triangle where I think our little carrot nose should go, draw some little dots for the mouth, and draw some dots for our snowman's buttons. That way you just kind of know what's going on. Now that I have that all drawn out and ready, I'm going to grab my orange piece of construction paper, and I'm just going to cut myself out a tiny triangle, just like that. That way, I have a little carrot nose, because what's a snowman without a carrot nose? I'm then going to take my glue, and I'm just going to use a little bit of that glue and just dab that on to the face of my snowman. And I'm actually going to take my little triangle, and I'm going to use that to spread the glue out just a little bit. That way I can get every part of the nose sticking to my snowman. Alright. Now that I have my nose attached, I'm going to come back through with my marker and I'm going to draw on the eyes and the mouth and the buttons. And luckily I know exactly where those things need to go because I drew that out earlier. So that's just going to make things a little bit easier for me as well. And if you want, you can draw your face any way you want. You can draw your mouth and the buttons and the eyes any way you want. You don't have to do it just like I'm doing. In fact, if you have little extra buttons at home, actual buttons, you can always glue those onto your snowman. I think that would be really cool looking. Now that I've got my face all finished up, I'm going to move on to the snowman's arms. So I'm going to take my pipe cleaner to do that. Now if you don't have pipe cleaner lying around, that is a-okay. You can use some toothpicks, you can even use little tiny sticks that you find outside, you can make construction paper arms, whatever you want. I just like using the pipe cleaner. And I'm actually even going to show you how to use this pipe cleaner to make some hands. Now to make the hands is going to be a little bit tricky, and if you're struggling with it, that's okay. Maybe ask for an adult or an older sibling to help you out if you are a little bit younger. If not, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how to make some hands with pipe cleaners. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the very tip of my pipe cleaner and I'm just going to bend a small portion of it at this 90-degree angle, or this really kind of square angle over here. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to take this big portion and I'm going to bend it all the way back up. And I'm going to push that all together so that it kind of looks like this. I'm then going to bend it at the same point as this other one, that first bend we made, just to get it all flat again with this little nub sticking out. And then I'm going to bend this back over on itself again, so that we have something that looks like this. And then I'm going to match it with this little nub we've created, and I'm going to bend that back up. That way we have 3 little points coming out at the end of our pipe cleaner. And then I can move those around a bit, adjust them just a tad, and then it looks a bit like a little snowman hand, like over here. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut a little bit of this off because I don't want my arms to be too long. And then I'm going to take the end of the arm and I'm going to bend that up a bit just like that as well. This is how I'm going to attach the arm to our actual snowman. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my stapler to do this just because it's a little bit quicker and I don't have to wait for the glue to dry, but glue or tape work just as well as a stapler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the arm on one side. I'm going to take my stapler or whatever I'm going to use to attach it and just do that to attach the arm to the side. And having that little bent portion really helps out there. I've got my other arm over here, and I'm going to attach that to my snowman as well, using my stapler. Alright, now that the arm is attached, I'm going to make my scarf. So I've just got a piece of ribbon to make my scarf. If you don't have ribbon, feel free to use a piece of paper. You can draw it on with marker or colored pencil, or you can paint it on, whatever you have available. So I'm just going to wrap this piece of ribbon around my snowman like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it here at the back using my stapler, just to make sure it's nice and snug and not going anywhere. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glue to glue it down in the front. So I'm just going to put a little dab here, right in the middle of my snowman. I'm going to pull that over. I'm going to do the same thing, just another dab of glue. And then I'm going to pull the other side over. I'm going to press that down. And now I've got my scarf all attached. All right. Now all that's left is to give our snowman a hat. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a little bit of felt. If you have maybe some extra cloth or even some construction paper, that works just as well to make a hat. You don't need to have felt. What I'm going to do is, because I left a little bit of space above the eyes, that's why I measured it out, I'm going to wrap my bit of felt around the top part of my snowman, all the way around. making sure I don't cover the eyes. And then you can glue, you can tape. I am going to staple this onto my snowman. I'm going to have to staple twice because my bit of felt is just not quite long enough to go all the way around. So I'm going to have to staple it 2 times. And with that attached, I'm going to fix my scarf really quick. I have a little trick to make things easy. I'm really just going to tuck this excess felt inside my toilet paper roll to create a nice little hat. And I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided tape on this scarf because it doesn't really want to cooperate with me right now, but that's okay. And there you have it. That is our toilet paper roll snowman. A pretty easy craft to make, but a lot of fun. In fact, with these hands I've made, I've got a little pom-pom over here. I can even make my snowman hold onto a little snowball so he's ready to have a fun snowball fight. Well, thank you so much for making this craft with me. I had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to all of the fun holiday crafts we're going to be making. As always, stay safe and stay tuned.